And Judge Jackson's background as a public defender has been a focal point of some of the questions she's faced, especially when it comes to how her experience defending criminals may impact her decisions in the highest court in the land. Alicia Bannon is the director of the Judiciary Program at the Brennan Center for Justice, where her work focuses on promoting a fair judicial system in an inclusive democracy. So, Alicia, thanks for being here. Why do you think Jackson's experience as a public defender has become such a focal point for Democrats trying to showcase it as a positive and Republicans trying to argue that that perspective makes her soft on crime? How would this impact her decisions as a Supreme Court justice?
Well, it's a perspective that has been completely unrepresented on the bench on the Supreme Court. There has never been a public defender ever to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court. And the last justice that had any substantial experience representing poor criminal defendants in our justice system was Thurgood Marshall, who retired from the Supreme Court more than 30 years ago. So it's a really important perspective to have somebody that's had to navigate the criminal justice system representing criminal defendants, having that perspective in the room. The Supreme Court gets thousands of petitions in criminal cases every year, and having somebody who has had to think about and lived, what does it mean to have adequate representation by your lawyer? What does it mean to have a fair trial? What does it mean for somebody to really understand the charges against them and all the other kinds of issues that come up, sentencing, to have somebody that's experienced that on the side of representing poor defendants is a really critical perspective. And I think that's why so many people were so excited about her nomination, because that is not a perspective that has really ever been represented, or at least in recent years, on the U.S. Supreme Court. Of course, because by very nature, defenders don't get to choose their clients. And sometimes their clients are very unpopular people. And so I think part of what we have been seeing right now is, unfortunately, an effort to sometimes conflate her appropriate zealous advocacy, her doing her job, and a requirement of the Constitution that you give a defendant as strong a defense as possible, trying to conflate that with her own, her own views on the rule of law, trying to kind of discredit her when actually having that kind of experience is a tremendous boon to the court and to the development of the law.
Now, Judge Jackson has avoided sharing her personal and sometimes professional view on a lot of questions, as do many Supreme Court justice nominees. So what do you make of the choices so far, and what questions she answers in detail, and where she's choosing to be more vague or evasive?
Well, I think that we are seeing I was very impressed with the detail in which she talked through how she thinks about sentencing. She is a judge. Another thing that distinguishes her, there's only one other justice on the Supreme Court right now, Justice Sotomayor, that has trial court experience. And, I think we're really seeing how that experience has sort of shaped both her judicial philosophy and, her approach to tricky legal questions. So I think she spent a lot of time walking through how she thinks about sentencing, what are the steps, how fact-dependent it is, what are the different considerations. I think she's taken this as an opportunity to really talk about what the experience that she brings to bear. I think on some of the places where she hasn't gone into detail, it's a very normal thing. We see this in every confirmation hearing, where they'll be probing on questions that are likely to be coming before the court or maybe pending before the court right now. So, for example, the court right now is hearing a case about the scope of abortion rights in this country, where we may very well see Roe v. Wade overturned or dramatically curtailed. She would not, and it would not be appropriate for her to be discussing in great detail how she's thinking about legal issues that are active and are even being considered right now before the court.
And there's also been a lot of accusations on both sides about the integrity of the court and the money and special interest behind Supreme Court nominations. How important is the integrity of the court, and where does it stand right now?
Look, I mean, public confidence in the judiciary is a critical value. You know, courts, they don't have the power of the purse. They don't have armies. What they have are the people's public trust and willingness to abide by the decisions that the court makes. And so having public confidence in the judiciary is really critical. You know, by a lot of measures, that public confidence is declining. There was a recent survey showing very few Americans think that the court is making decisions without thinking about political considerations. The approval rating of the court has really been dropping. And, you know, I think there's a lot of reasons for that. But one of the elephant in the room, or one of the elephants in the room in this confirmation hearing, has been that, you know, we're operating in the backdrop of a really radicalized, you know, 6-3 conservative majority on the U.S. Supreme Court right now. And I think as we're seeing the court, you know, potentially rolling back well-established rights, I think that is being very aggressive in the use of the shadow docket and other kinds of emergency measures. That's making people worried about, you know, is the court playing the role that it's supposed to be playing? And I think Judge Jackson very compellingly, you know, spoke about what the role of a judge is and how she thinks, what her judicial philosophy is, how she thinks about the law, and how important it is for judges to be fair and impartial. You know, she also spoke about public confidence in the court from the perspective of diversity on the bench. I thought that was one of her most compelling comments thus far, just really talking about how important it is for communities who are affected, you know, in tremendous ways by the decisions that courts make to see themselves reflected in the bench so that they can be confident that the court is making decisions in a way that, you know, understands the people that are being affected by them.
All right, Alicia, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.